Welcome, everybody. In today's class, I want to quickly go over the parallels between the Iranian weekly cycle and the Jewish weekly cycle. Believe it or not, there are many connections between the two, as one might expect, because Jews have been in the region for thousands of years. So it's very possible, and we see evidence of it, that Jewish influence has somehow creeped its way in through Persian culture. Not only in the way that we name the weekdays, the days of the week in Persian, but the whole concept of Shambeh. In Farsi, Shambeh is Shabbat. The whole week revolves around Shabbat. In the Persian culture, it's the same way. We're counting the days, meaning the 6 weekdays, up toward Shabbat. In Farsi, we say Yek Shambeh, دوشنبه، سه‌شنبه، چهارشنبه، پنجشنبه, and جمعه. Those are the 6 days of the week. And then the 7th day is called Shambeh. But Jomeh used to be called Shish Shambeh. Shish Shambeh means the 6th day, because Friday is the 6th day. But they changed it. I don't know exactly why they changed it. I don't know the history behind that. Presumably because they didn't want it to be the same as the Hebrew weekly cycle, which we say Yom Rishon, Yom Sheni, Yom Shlishi, Yom Revi'i, Yom Chamishi, Yom Shishi, the 6th day. But the 7th day is called Shabbat, or Yom Shabbat, because the week revolves around Shabbat. Let's open that up a little bit more. And then we're going to get into the significance of Jomeh. Why in Farsi they changed the Shish Shambeh to Jomeh? What does Jomeh mean? Jomeh in Farsi means to gather or to collect. That's what Jomeh literally means. So we're going to learn the parallel between that name, Jomeh, and Yom Shishi from a Kabbalistic point of view as it corresponds to the Sefirah of Yesod. Before we get so complicated, let's first explain why the week revolves around Shabbat, or Shambeh. We know that the 6 days of the week, we are commanded in the Torah to remember Shabbat. Zachor et HaShabbat. It's a biblical commandment to remember Shabbat during the 6 days. And that's why both in Hebrew and in Farsi, you see evidence of this halacha in the Persian culture as well, that we are remembering Shabbat as we advance through the 6 days of the week. The first day, the second day, third day, all the way up to the 6th day, and then we finally reach Shabbat. So that's the mitzvah of remembering Shabbat. But to observe Shabbat, that has to be done on Shabbat. So those are the two aspects of the commandment of Shabbat in the Torah. To remember Shabbat, which we do during the 6 days of the week, and to observe, or shamor et HaShabbat, which can only be done on the day of Shabbat. You can't observe Shabbat during the 6 days. Now, Hashem, or Chodah, or Allah, whatever you want to say, blessed the 7th day of the week. He sanctified it, which means that the 7th day of the week, Shambeh, or Shabbat, is holy. It's holy. What that really means is that all of the brachot, the blessings, the divine abundance, what we say in Farsi, we say nur elahi, godly light, divine light, is available on Shabbat. That's when we receive a transmission of light of God. But the amount and quality of the light that we receive on Shabbat depends on the work or the avodah that you did during the 6 days of the week. You have to work. You have to construct a vessel to receive that light on Shabbat with. So the 6 days of the week correspond to building the vessel, while the 7th day corresponds to receiving the light or the extra soul, which corresponds to the size of the vessel that you built during those 6 days. And another thing that we're doing during the 6 days is we're doing something called birur nitzutzim, clarifying the sparks. Through our divine service of doing mitzvot, performing commandments, avodat Hashem, by doing gamilut chasadim, good deeds, fekre chub, sohbat chub. The whole idea is that we're basically elevating sparks through our divine service during the 6 days. We're cleaning our vessel, cleaning the world through doing mitzvot with the proper kavanah. You have to have the right intention while you're doing this, which means for the sake of the unification that happens on Shabbat. Because what happens on Friday, Yom Shishi, Jomeh, Jam mikonim. We gather together all of the sparks to prepare for Shabbat, because we have to gather all of those nitzutzim, the divine sparks that we've been clarifying and we've been purifying during the 6 days, in preparation for giving it over to Shabbat. So if we look at the Sefirot, we'll see it embodied in the lower 7 Sefirot. Chesed is Yek Shambe. Gevurah is Do Shambe. Tiferet is Se Shambe. Netzach is Char Shambe. Hod is Pain Shambe. And Yesod is Jomeh. Malchut is Shambe. But Friday, which is Yom Shishi in the Hebrew calendar, is the Hebrew week cycle, the 6th day of the week, is whenever we gather Jam'eh, we jam all of the sparks in preparation for giving it over to Malchut, which happens on Shabbat, whenever all of these sparks actually get elevated to the upper worlds. So we're clarifying sparks during the 6 days, and on Shabbat, we give them all over to Malchut. So they all gather on Friday into one place, which is Jomeh, to be given over to Malchut, which is Shabbat, whenever they get aliyah, elevation, to the upper worlds. That's the cycle of the week in Jewish tradition, but we see that paralleled as well in the Persian weekly cycle. There's a debate right now in Iran whether, because they wanna extend the weekend to 2 days as opposed to just one, but they don't know whether they want to do it Thursday and Friday or Friday and Saturday, because right now the weekend is just Friday, but they don't know if they should make it Thursday and Friday or Friday and Saturday. The more religious types, Muslim religious types, they believe that we should do Thursday and Friday, not Friday and Saturday, because it has to do with the Jewish tradition, and we don't want to make it seem like we're following the Jewish tradition and keeping 2 days because of Shabbat, Shambeh. I just found that a little bit funny, because the weekly cycle in Iran is already in accordance with the Jewish law. It's already been influenced by the Jewish law. Jomeh means to jam all of the sparks, which comes from a Jewish belief. So I found that a little bit interesting. Anyways, I'm not here to judge anybody, but we see the parallels. And that was a very interesting thing that I wanted to just share with you. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the message was clear. And I'll see you in the next video.